everybody, and welcome. I'm Tami from Nutmeg Notebook, and we're super excited that we are here in Ohio in the Vitamix kitchen with Andrew. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you so much. It's glad to have you guys here as a guest.
So Andrew is going to answer some questions, tell us about recipe developing here at Vitamix, and also we're going to get a sneak peek at the kitchen here. So I'm super excited about that, and I know you guys will be too. So first of all, tell us, what is your title here at Vitamix?
Here at Vitamix, I am the sous chef, so that means I get to wear a lot of hats, all fun ones, lots of hardworking ones, but I get the chance to work with a lot of different departments here. I sort of help to keep our team here in the Culinary Center on track with all the different activities that we have going on. So a typical week can look like it's filled with trainings, with smoothies that we blend for employees, with product testing, with recipe development, sort of a little bit of everything.
So you have a fun job. You get to cook and eat.
Right, exactly.
Is that like a dream job?
Oh yeah, I've had so many people come in here and they say, why do you get to do what you do? Or I wish I could be doing that. I want to do that more often. We always just say, stop down in the kitchen and, experience our world for a little bit and have some fun with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. And I can see you've been making some things today already.
Yep.
Yeah, so how does the process go? Can you kind of tell us what did you do today and that kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah, so this has been an interesting week. We had a lot of different things going on this week. So we did, between our team this morning, just a little bit of training for some new hires that we brought on recently. So one of the big things we try to do with new employees is we just sort of take them through the whole breadth of our equipment, what the different pieces of technology look like and how they've changed throughout the years, why you may want to pick one blender over another just based on user preference and maybe what your needs at home are. So we'll sort of take people through and give them an understanding of how to use the equipment, show them what different kinds of recipes they can do, and just sort of help them to figure out how to speak to them better. It's typically something we'll try to take our marketing department through pretty closely just so they can go out and market, so they should be able to speak to the product and be able to explain how they work and everything that they can do. So a little bit of training this morning and just an overview of recipes and what the difference with Vitamix is versus what the difference with some other companies and their blenders are, and how we come out on the top and how we're able to do some of the things we can do with our equipment and some things that other people may not be able to do in their blenders. So a lot of learning and a lot of training this week.
Okay, so where's your inspiration come from for new recipes? Or who comes up with, I'm also curious, who comes up with, this, we're gonna do this for the attachment for the Vitamix. Do you guys say, hey, could you make us something that will do this, or does R&D say, hey, we just invented this, figure out something that you can make with it?
Yeah, so
it's
a little bit of a mix. So I like to say we are sort of R&D here in the kitchen. So this is the test kitchen. So anytime there's something new coming out, the engineers, they'll send stuff down to us and we figure out, can we break it? Can we not break it? Is it unbreakable yet? If it does break, how do we fix it? What should we do different? How can we go back from that? So we'll pull recipe inspiration from a lot of different places. We try to stay pretty up and up on trends, just as far as what consumers are using ingredient-wise and just things that may be, prevalent seasonally, or things that might be just kind of trending in the beverage industry, or just things that people are hopping on trend-wise going into a new year. There's usually things that are different every year, so we'll try to take a look at that and see what people are doing, see what people are posting, and things like social media and all that. They all play a part in things now. So sort of just take a look through those things and figure out, what are we going to do with this in a recipe? How are we going to take this and turn it into something that's Vitamix specific? So maybe you have holiday coming up and there's a spice blend that everybody's loving to do. Figure out how we can incorporate that into something like a nut butter. So you've got, a simple peanut butter sitting over here. Can you throw some star anise and some cinnamon and some nutmeg just all whole in there and make, a nice seasonal nut butter that you can maybe gift to people for a holiday? So we'll sort of pull inspiration from different people like that, and also just employees. We try to do tastings. Okay. The luncheons are always a fun day to be in the office for. We'll sort of do those and we'll get feedback from everybody on what ingredients they think we should do for the next season of recipe development, and just sort of get those ideas rolling so we can start the ideation process.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so I see you have the food processor here. I love that food processor.
Yes,
that
too.
Has changed my life.
Right.
Because I used to have a really big, heavy one that I would have to get out. And then we got this one because my base sits out on my kitchen counter. And so it's always there. And then this has such a small footprint.
Right.
that I love how everything stacks.
Yep.
And
It's
it doesn't
convenient.
and doesn't take up a lot of room. So did your research and development come up with this, or did you guys go, wouldn't it be cool if we had a food processor?
Right. So the food processor was something that was a long time in the works. I know it was something that got tossed back and forth a lot throughout the years, and it was sort of something that got brought to the table, and we decided not to go with it, and brought to the table and went back. And then at one point it hit the drawing board, and everybody seemed to be on board with it, and we decided to go, full speed ahead with it and see how we could start to sort of shift from just blenders into blending solutions. So I think what you just said about having to pick up your big, heavy old food processor up and set it on a counter versus this one that has that footprint, that's what we were going after with this. Is it's convenient, it's small, but it does a great job at so many different things. So at home on my countertop, I typically have this sitting right there next to the base, and I've got my blending container on top. They're interchangeable if you've got the right base. So I use this just as often as I'll use my blender because there's so many different things you can do with it. And there's two very, very distinctly different worlds, I think, between the processor and the blender. So it's cool to sort of keep this out and look at that and be like, okay, how can I use that in my lunch today, or how can I incorporate this in my dinner tonight to make my meal prep easier, to make my day, a little bit less stressful as I think about how I'm going to get some food ready for a meal.
Yeah, it speeds everything up, and then to
Right.
have all the different blades
Yep.
that go on it as well. It's just
It's hard to beat.
fantastic. It is. It is.
Right. It's just so good looking sitting on the countertop too.
That's true. My counter is very full though, so I don't leave it out.
Right.
But I have it right there where I can grab it and use it. So this, I absolutely love this.
Right. Lifesaver.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. Well, do you want to show us around
Yeah,
the kitchen
absolutely.
a little bit?
Take a quick peek around. We'll go, let's do a little loop around this way.
Okay.
So this back here sort of is where most of the work gets done, I would say. This is sort of our back kitchen area. So we've got our stove and oven and everything back here. We sort of have all of our spices and everything built in. So
Nice.
basically just our two primary workstations. There's usually 3 or 4 of us in here at any given time just working back and forth on different projects. So we get all the counter space to kind of sprawl out and
Yeah,
have all the
nice.
different equipment out, and anything we may be prepping for recipes or just sort of getting ready for demo, we'll sort of have back here. Just sort of keep all this stuff out and, actively ready to use if we need to grab it for things.
And I see that you guys go through a lot of containers.
Containers, yeah. Yeah, we always have a plethora of containers sitting out. We've
And
got
who does the dishes?
typically me, if we're being
Okay.
honest, but we all do take a part in, getting dishes done. I mean, we've got containers on containers, all
gosh.
sorts of stuff just stashed away. So it's nice. It's sort of the show kitchen. It's like the nice showpiece, I think, here at headquarters, but it's also very functional. So we've got all the tools and everything that we need to do all the work that we have throughout the day, just sort of scattered all throughout the kitchen, and everybody sort of knows where to go to grab this thing or that thing.
Okay.
But over here, this is typically where we'll do a lot of the demonstrations and a lot of the trainings we have. So we just sort of have this nice big credenza where if you were here about an hour ago, you would see all the different equipment and all the machines and blenders and containers that we have. Just sort of a chance for us to lay everything out when we do demos, so you can just take a big look at everything, maybe on the commercial side or maybe on the household side. It's different with every training that we do, but sort of just gives us that room to sort of go slowly through and walk people through everything that we've got.
And so that's usually like new employees that you're doing that
Typically,
with?
yeah, and a lot of times we'll do demonstrations as well. So maybe we have sales reps that might be out of town, or we'll have clients that come in, and just to sort of give them an overview of what we've got, or just to show them different pieces of equipment and technology. It's just sort of a way to do a little showcase of things like that.
Yeah, nice.
But that's sort of this side of the kitchen, and if you head over this way, we've got a couple other big pieces of equipment and tools we sort of utilize, sort of all of our cold refrigerator and storage space. We're punny here in the kitchen, so we've got just our walk-in freezer over here, sort of for all the frozen fruit and everything. We blow through that, so we use a whole bunch of stuff for smoothies and for different kinds of drinks and beverages that we'll go through and blend regularly. Got the pun and the freezer there.
I love
we
it.
have a Solo brand freezer in the back, so we have Han Solo on the inside.
Nice.
We've got Christopher Walken on the walk-in cooler.
It's a
So
walk-in cooler.
sort of just punny, try to
I
keep
love
it
it.
light down here and keep the atmosphere nice and light. But
That's good.
storage for all the stuff we have going on. This whole walk-in fridge was completely full of things this week from all the different events we had going on. So
Okay.
sometimes it's a little bit bare and we have other things going on. Sometimes it's completely stacked and full of stuff and we're doing a whole bunch of different things.
Is this your main workstation right back here?
This is my main workstation back here. A little bit of a mess. You can sort of see this is this is the aftermath of a training. So
Okay.
we'll take everything back here, get everything nice rinse off, and have a nice commercial dishwasher back here that will sort of run things through and keep it clean. And that thing is probably the hardest worker in this kitchen because that'll clean a whole tray of all these dishes in about 90 seconds and have
Okay,
them.
so do you hand wash the blender containers or do you put them in the dishwasher?
We do a mix of both. There's some that are rated for dishwasher that we'll run through, and there's others that will just give a nice rinse, or we'll run a cleaning cycle on it just to keep them nice and clean.
Yeah.
And I mean, we try to keep things as pristine in here as we can because we use it so often that the better we take care of it and the better we clean it, the longer it'll last.
So is this also where you do filming of the Vitamix recipes when they're like on the website?
Yeah, we'll do lots up here, and we've actually got a smaller little show kitchen up in the front. Not as full, not a full kitchen as far as equipment and everything goes, but it's sort of just like a nice little space that we'll use sometimes for training, sometimes for sales demos and that sort of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much our space back here. We've got a little pantry in the back that we sort of keep all our dry goods in, and little equipment closet just to sort of stash and tuck away some more things that we use often. But
So do you guys make lunch every day for
we
yourselves?
try to make lunch fairly often.
wonder.
Yeah, there's always something going on in the world of recipe development or trainings, and we always, we'll cook stuff and we'll try to make sure, if production has a break for lunch, we'll send stuff out for them to have for lunch, or maybe marketing has a busy week going on, we'll invite them down, to share the wealth with what we have going on, and try to do no waste with everything as much as we can. And if we do happen to have waste, we'll use something like the food cycler just to sort of get rid of any scraps that we may have left over. But
Nice.
yeah, one of those little job perks, I would say, here in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I develop recipes for my blog, and sometimes I have failures. Do you
Yeah.
guys ever have failures?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. And that's where we learn the most, honestly, is how we figure out how can we make something better? How can we do a better recipe for the equipment? Or do we need a new piece of equipment? That's sort of something that's been sparked over the years too.
Okay, well that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
It's part of the process.
It
we
is,
expect
right?
it.
Yeah, like I was working on a ranch dressing recipe and I must have made it about 10, 12 times,
Right.
trying to make it
Yeah,
dairy
make it
free
perfect.
and yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And people are like, when are you going to share that recipe? I'm like, not until it's
Right.
like just
It's gotta
right.
it's gotta be perfect. Because
Right.
whoever's gonna recreate that, they're not gonna make it exactly the same way as you. So it's really gotta be good.
Yep.
Just in case they make an issue or make an error with it, then you still have a good recipe at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right. It's tricky. It's
Right.
tricky. So when you guys come up with a recipe and perfect it, do you get credit for that when it's published
So
or on the website?
there's sort of two phases to that. So
Okay.
on the website, most of our recipes, they just go out as being Vitamix recipes. But then on the internal side, we've got a database that's got about, I want to say 3,400 different recipes on it right now. So we sort of can look back and we'll see with each quarter that we do recipe development whose name is on the most recipes, and we can sort of
Okay.
tell, okay, what projects were going on those couple months. Was Andrew developing most of this stuff? Was Matt developing most of that stuff? Because we all sort of cycle through different projects throughout the months. So sometimes it's a little bit heavier on one person. Sometimes we all sort of share it. But
Okay. Are you
they're
guys
all-
a little competitive? In the
Not
kitchen?
typically, no. I mean, we'll
Okay.
make recipes and we'll sort of taste things, and sometimes someone will be like, well, you should have put this in it, and other person will be like, well, you could have put this with it instead. And that's sort of the fun with it, is we sort of all challenge each other with things like that, and everybody's got different taste buds, so it's a good way to keep things fresh, and it keeps us, constantly inspired and just able to innovate with the new recipes often.
So do you have different specialties? Tom wants us to move over. Do you have like somebody particularly prefers to develop desserts or sauces or?
Yes, I would say I'm the sauce guy for sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm definitely the dessert guy as well. I got a chance to work with a pastry chef in the local Cleveland area a couple years back that I was very fond of, but I was able to learn a lot from. So anytime we have any kind of dessert recipe or anything in the realm of like breads and baking and doughs, I sort of like to develop stuff like that.
Nice.
Matt, our executive chef, he's always a big fan of doing things with fresh vegetables and things that are in season. He likes soups and smoothies, but all things with interesting flavors. So sometimes I'll see him sit down at that credenza and he'll have like 9 cookbooks out and he'll just sort of go through and look through everything and figure out how we can create something new and, you know, off the wall that people can still like and get into, but it's a little bit different, you know, maybe like lavender being worked into a smoothie or just something that's a little bit atypical.
Nice. I love that. Well, it sounds like you guys have a good working relationship and balance it out with
we
what you're
balance
doing.
each other well.
That's good.
It's good.
Wonderful. So can you share with us anything that you're thinking about making dessert-wise?
Ooh, dessert-wise, we just had a meeting the other day, so we sort of got Q4 feedback from people, so we're about to start developing for holiday recipes soon.
Oh, nice.
We don't actually have anything set in stone yet, but some of the things I want to say I heard the other day were tofu, pears, and chocolate.
Oh.
I don't think those will be in combination with each other, but I know there's some interesting things coming up for later this year, and we'll be able to use the food processor and the immersion blender and the blender itself, so always some fun innovation upcoming.
Nice. Will those recipes be on the website then?
They will, yeah. So that's sort of the cadence we've gotten into in the past couple of years is we'll do our seasonal development, and then within, you know, the start of the season is where we try to have everything up and ready to go on the website. So as soon as fall starts, that first day of fall is here, you can go straight to Vitamix.com and see everything that's newly developed, and then you can take your inspiration and sort of pull from there as well.
Absolutely, and we're going to do that. We'll be checking it out. I'll be looking for tofu, pears, and
Tofu pear chocolate cake,
and chocolate.
maybe? We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see what comes up from that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
this
of
has been
course.
so interesting and fun for me.
Good.
I've just, you know, I've seen the videos. I was just dying to see
Right.
what the kitchen was really like.
A day in the life.
Here. Yeah, it's
probably
great.
not too far off from your world either at home developing.
Right,
So.
right. Very similar. However, I don't have that many blender containers and
Right.
so forth. But thank you so much. I
Yeah,
really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. I know that our viewers are really going to enjoy getting this look.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes look at it. It just makes it more tangible for
Right.
us when we get to meet the people who
Sure.
are developing the recipes
Absolutely.
and a part of the Vitamix family. So thank you everyone for watching. If you like this video, give Andrew and I a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want to know more about Vitamix blenders and all of the wonderful accessories, we will include a link in the description underneath this video. Also, I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel showing you what I make in my Vitamix, and I think that you'll enjoy those as well. I'm Tami, this is Andrew, and we help you get healthy and stay healthy one meal at a time. See you next time. Bye for now. Well, this is kale.
Kale for sure, yeah.
And that it kind of looks kale-ish, but I'm not sure.
Tell people where we are. Where are we?
Yeah, so we're at the Vitamix. Hey everybody, it's Tami. We are at the Vitamix headquarters and we are outside. This is a nice little garden that the chefs here have. So we know we have kale. I'm assuming this is kale, but you know, I'm not a big gardener. And these look like strawberries here. It looks like there is some mint back there and some thyme here in front as well. And
Basil.
some basil back in there, yeah. So this is really cool. They have some peppers here. There's gonna be some tomatoes. What do we have here?
Hot banana peppers.
Ooh, nice.
Takara.
So they
More basil.
actually grow some of their
Pimento.
own ingredients for the test kitchen. So anyway, we just thought we would give you a little view of that. They have a few more things over here. They're growing some broccoli. That's pretty cool. So very, very cool. Cucumbers, lots of fun stuff here. We're talking whole food plant based. So we just thought we'd give you a little peek at that.